welcome to Conversations in Lagos. It is March and it is Women's History Month here in America, so we are dedicating an episode to appreciate the lovely women who have paved the way for us, and to just, give them a good shout out and say that we recognize you, we recognize your work, we're thankful for what you've done, and you are great examples for us, so that hopefully we can also be great examples for the women that are coming up after us.
My name is Tayo.
Hi, I'm Marie and I'm from Ghana.
My name is Udochi, from Nigeria.
Hi, my name is Kadi. I'm from Guinea.
Hi, my name is Achenyo.
Hi, my name is Yomi. I'm from Nigeria.
Welcome to Conversations in Lagos.
So, the first woman, first women that I would recognize, because I couldn't do this list and not mention them, so I was like, got to give the sisters a shout out. It goes out to my mama and my sister. Yes. These are the two women that I know most intimately, and that means that I know their strengths and I know their flaws. So it's not an easy thing to expose yourself to other people and to let other people see you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But these women allow me to do that, and they allow me to learn from their mistakes. They allow me to learn from the things that they do. And I wouldn't even say most importantly, but one of the things that I admire about these two women, and actually they're almost the same woman, my older sister and my mother. It's almost a little scary, but they are quite similar. But they hold it down for their families, and I really appreciate that about them. They are the backbones of their families, and that takes a lot of sacrifice. When I go to see my sister, I'm always just like,
How do you do it?
Is this what marriage is? But they do a lot to make the family work, and for that's just one of the reasons that I'm shouting them out. They're smart, intelligent, sacrificial, loving, supportive, vulnerable women in my life that I'm learning from. So happy Women's History Month, Mom and Sis. Your turn.
Yeah, I have to say, Tyra literally took the words out of my mouth, because I come from a family of a lot of women. I have two younger siblings who are women.
I didn't know that.
And so my mom and my sisters certainly definitely keep us entertained. My brother is the solo guy holding it down with my dad.
Okay.
in the mix, but we wouldn't be who we are today. I know I certainly wouldn't be the wife and mother that I am without the example of my own mother. And it's an interesting place to be when you are the eldest of three girls, because the pressure of being that example, you are the trailblazer. You're the one who you get all the parenting, because you're the one that doesn't have as much freedom as your younger siblings, because you're sort of the experiment,
Yeah.
And even through that, I'm really grateful to mom for all the sacrifices, all the encouragement, even in the moments that I wasn't believing in myself. She was always that person to give an encouraging word. So truly, she inspires me. And my younger siblings, for making my life a challenge, because I always needed to make sure that I was on the straight and narrow so that I wouldn't be told that I was leading them astray. But I love them, because they really are they're my ride or dies, because when there's a situation, they're ready. They're like, okay, hold my earrings. Where do we have to go? They're ready to charge. But I absolutely and just deeply love them, and I'm so grateful to you guys, and certainly want to wish you guys a happy Women's History Month as well.
The next woman that I would like to give a shout out to, and there's so many of them that I can't to just say five. I feel
the list is endless, honestly.
Yeah. One, they're not in order because I refuse to do that. Two, it's not what's the word? This is not the list. There's so many more, but we're just gonna limit it to five because this is a time show that we gotta go. So, but the second person that I want to shout out is Mrs. Jumoke Adenowo, and she's a celebrated architect in Nigeria. And she wears many hats, in the different sectors and in different industries. And I just I like her drive. I'm an artist, so I appreciate another artist. First of all, I I appreciate her tenacity. I appreciate, and when I list my women, you'll be like, they're all the same person. They kind of are. But I think my thing that I appreciate in women is the same thing that pushes me. You know, I appreciate women who have that hustle spirit and can-do spirit. And, you know, they have a vision, they have something they want to achieve. And they execute. And they go out and do it, no matter what the odds are. And, you know, they might get some pushback for it or whatever. But I just admire people who are able to say, this is where we're going. And they go, and they're strong, and they carry themselves well in the whole process. So I appreciate her for being that type of woman, and for everything she does. Like, there are things that I don't want to say because this is not the platform for it. Yeah. But I definitely appreciate you, Ma. Yes, I said Ma. If you happen to catch this somewhere.
And I'm going to be a little traditional in one of the women because unfortunately, she's no longer with us. So Dr. Maya Angelou is somebody that has been very inspirational for me and has had a very interesting impact on my life. Because in growing up, you hear about phenomenal woman, you know, you hear about why does the cage bird sing? And it's this larger than life person. And I had the opportunity to actually meet her in person and to actually interact with her on a personal level that truly has left me in a space where I'm very mindful of what it is I put out in the world. Okay. Because one of the things that she always shared was always, you know, be kind. Okay. It was always be kind, always be truthful, and really always be mindful of the fact that, you know, you are representing not just you but your family. You know, and that was very big, and especially for somebody who has had such a varied life. You know, she spent some time in Ghana, right, so that was really exciting. And as a result, she's actually my husband's mother's godmother. Oh. Yes. So that's how I ended up getting to meet. I know, that's how I ended up getting to meet her, and I was I fangirled for maybe 15 seconds, and then I realized, you know, I have to just act like I'm, you know, just regular family. You know. So for me, really having the opportunity to call her Auntie Maya and to have the chance to learn at her feet, so to speak, has been really impactful for me, because I feel almost like the legacy that I need to continue, right? Of being, not just being me, Marie, but then being a strong Ghanaian African woman who really is aspiring for a lot of things. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful for her life. Right. And I'm grateful for all the things that she's put out there and the legacy that she's left behind. Right. Yeah.
Great. Next woman on my list is Tiwa Savage. Yes. Yes. I was like, I'm waiting for someone to be like, what? Please, make your own list and do what you want. And you know what? I'm not here to, you know,
justify your list.
Or even to just say, you know, I love everything Tiwa does, or I hate that's not what this is. As a woman, I am appreciating Tiwa Savage right now. My reason is because Tiwa, for me, has kind of always represented us. Us meaning, you know, those of us who grew up out here. And, you know, she did all the things that you're supposed to do. She went to school, you know, she could have a career, I believe, in accounting or something like that right now. But she had a dream. And that dream propelled her, you know, to take risks and to do things that a lot of people don't do. Yeah. So, you know, you can criticize her, you can say X, Y, and Z, but guess what? The woman is a fighter, you know, and me, you know, I love that. I love that about her. I love the fact that she didn't just sit back and have a desire and just relegate it to the background and do what everyone else is doing. So I admire her boldness. Yeah, I admire the fight in her. You know, Tiwa Savage is one of us, and now she's like, Tiwa Savage, you and I know her name. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's a call to other people like us. It means that if one of us, you know, could rise like that, any of us could if we wanted to. Yes. You know. So it's a call for us to not ignore the dreams in our hearts and to push through and follow our dreams. So a nice Women's History Month shout out to Tiwa Savage.
You know, I don't know how do I come behind that? I mean,
there's so many ways. There are so many ways.
Really, how do I come behind that? So my next shout out actually goes to my my primary and JSS. For those of you that don't know what primary and JSS, especially in the American audience, elementary and junior high. My primary and junior high English teacher, Mrs. Dake, who happens to be the current principal of my alma mater. And she's somebody who gave me a voice in terms of words put to paper. And I'm so grateful for that, because the lessons and the skills and the things that she implanted in us at that very early age are things that I still draw from. Topic sentence. It's something that I always, I keep in mind whenever I'm writing, because I always want to make sure that anybody that picks anything that I've written up understands exactly what it's about, because she drummed it into us so much. And the other thing that she would always make us do was write full and complete essays in 15 to 30 minutes.
That's a great skill to have.
Let me tell you, it came in handy for SAT.
It comes in handy at the office. I'm sure.
It does, and it really does. And those are the types of things that, for us as, young Ghanaian children, you don't necessarily think about those types of things. And for you to learn a skill at such an early age, one, that carries you through the rest of your life, I think is phenomenal. And I really credit her with, giving me that written voice and making me the writer that I am today. And honestly, it's sometimes I'm just like, because people have asked me, do you take writing classes? And I'm like, no,
it's
this
Mrs.
is and making sure that you're using words that are flowery and yet simple enough that everybody can understand. And those are things that, people pay money for to learn in actual writing classes. And we had the good fortune of learning that as very young children. So, Mrs. Dake, I know I don't say this enough, and I'm still grateful that you're alive for me to be able to say this to you. Thank you, and happy Women's History Month.
That is so sweet. So you're still in touch with her?
I am.
Oh my gosh, that's hot.
When I go to Ghana and I have the chance to go and visit my school, really? She's the principal, so you gotta go to the principal's office. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so next on my list, shouting out. She's no longer with us either, but I think any Nigerian woman would definitely appreciate or understand why I'm shouting out Mrs. Funmilayo Ransome-Kuti. She's a major name in the women's movement, I think globally, really, not just in Nigeria. Obviously, she is the mother to Fela Kuti that everybody knows, but she was also an activist. And I think what's also very special about her activism is that in the time that she was doing it, in the space that she was doing it, coming from, she's a Nigerian, but coming from, I won't even say African country, coming from Nigeria, I wish I knew more. I'm sure there were. Before I put myself out there, someone corrects me. But you know what? I don't know too many. She's one of the few women that we hear about from history, who again took the bull by the horns and spoke out and galvanized women and fought for women's rights and whatnot. I know that Professor Wole Soyinka's mother, Mrs. Eniola Soyinka, was also working with her as well. So I mean, I'll give a shout out to both ladies. But yes, if they hadn't done what they did, the narrative about a woman's place and all those things wouldn't have started at the time that it did in Nigeria. So I am giving this Women's History Month shout out to Mrs. Funmilayo Ransome-Kuti and Mrs. Eniola Soyinka.
Very nice. So how many is that?
That's four.
That's four?
So you're four.
So my fourth shout out is actually going to go to somebody that's been long dead, but has definitely made an indelible impact on Ghanaian history. Okay. And that's Yas Antwa.
Okay.
And Yas Antwa, for those of you that don't know who she is, was an Ashanti kingdom warrior who literally rallied the troops and fought against the British.
Okay.
At a time when, literally Ghana, or what it was known back then as the Gold Coast, was in a fight for its freedom and its independence, and the Ashanti Kingdom stood in the way of the British being able to actually penetrate and take over the entire country. And she happened to be one of the strong women that actually led that fight, and she's one of the few, if you will, that is celebrated because she had the boldness to come face to face with folks with muskets and swords, and she got her guys together and said, no, we're standing up against these folks, and literally encouraged other nations to say, you know what, if this one woman can do it with these few men, why can't we? And that actually ended up resulting in the Ashanti British Wars, which took a good chunk of time. I think there were about 4 cycles before the British could actually annex the Ashanti Kingdom and the Gold Coast. So that for me is really tremendous history to learn about growing up in Ghana, that we didn't go down without a fight, and that there was a woman that actually led the charge to do that. So that's definitely one of the shout outs that I want to give. So Yas Antwa, thank you.
History lesson then. All right. So we're going for 5. The idea was to, I think when I introduced it, I probably didn't say it, but we were going to list 5 women that we were each going to give a Women's History Month shout out to. So the 5th one for me is Mrs. Ibukun Awosika. I believe she is the chairman of it's First Bank, right? I believe it's First. Oh Lord, I hope I'm not wrong because I don't want to.
Maybe skip the bank.
No, I believe it's First Bank, and I'm gonna stick to my guns and I'm gonna put it out there. It's First Bank, I believe, in Nigeria. But before she got there, she had founded her own furniture making company. And the thing is, she's not, a new day entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is a cool thing now. So I'm gonna go find me a business. That's not what it is. She's been doing it from jump. Oh, and that's one thing I want to say about Mrs. Adenowo as well. These are people that they completed their education and they started doing this thing. So they've been doing it for yonks. That's what I would have hoped for myself. I finished school and then I went out there and I conquered the world on my own.
And it's not too late because you're doing that one episode at a time.
One episode at a time. But I'm just saying that, I've tried it and it is not a joke. It is not beans to do what they have done. So for them to have started these companies, from the early 20s and have sustained it, these are women in their 50s.
Yeah.
So, and have sustained it for this long in an environment like Nigeria. They are not, they're not your
average entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I definitely give a salute to them. And obviously it's because of Mrs. Awoshika's accomplishments that First Bank called on her to come and sit where she sits with the company right now. So the ladies coming from behind, we're seeing you, and your lives, and not just your words, your lives are telling us that it can be done. So you give us hope and you give us strength. Yeah. And you make it very practical for us. So thank you.
Yep. I honestly, like Taya said, there's just too many, and I think I'm going to reserve my final one and do a collective of women. But I think there's so many that we can't do justice, and there's so many women that I know for me inspire and impact my life every day. But I think I just want to give a general shout out to all my sisters and moms, non-moms, like all the women out there who every day wake up to make this world a little bit better for themselves, but then for also their family members and their loved ones. It's definitely not easy being in the world today because they say it's a quote unquote it's a man's world.
Who says that?
And we're just living in it. But I want to encourage and say that a little bit by a little bit we are making headway, and every day is a bit of a struggle. And one of the things that we'll probably talk about is a not so fun topic, but even through the challenges and the difficulties that we experience as women, as we try to build our careers, as we try to carve out niches for ourselves and for our families, I want to give ourselves a shout out, because we're making it happen in spite of, and I think that is definitely something that's commendable, because they always say, well, I shouldn't say they, because it was actually Dr. Kwijiro Agri that said this.
All right.
That if you educate a man, you educate an individual, but if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. And that is something that I have found to be very true in my own personal life, and especially as I raise my two boys, that women have such a profound impact on how nations are built. And so thank you to us.
Thank you to us. And I think I was going to throw in a 6 on purpose because I wanted a surprise. But the surprise woman that I want to give a shout out to is me. And I know, so you were reading my mind.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
I feel like, we'll look at all believe me, I'm not comparing myself to any of the women that I've listed, but I'm just saying that
not?
in
But
my
why
own...
not? But why not?
I'm getting there. I'm just saying in my own right, knowing myself, knowing my flaws, knowing my strengths, I like me. And I think I've done well. I've made my mistakes and I own them, but I'm here and I'm thriving and I've still got, so many more miles to go. And I'm a woman and history has been written and my life has been documented. Yeah. So I'm giving myself a shout out for coming this far and for everything else that I've got in front of me. Girl, you go. You just go. Yeah, I needed that. Happy Women's
History Month.
But then, Happy Women's History Month.
Yes.
Maybe you want to do that before because I'm going to do a collective one as well. You don't want to do your own on camera. Okay, I'll do it first. For every single one of my sisters who co-host this show with me, Happy Women's History Month. They all bring different, and I don't think I necessarily expected this, the way that we've experienced it. They all bring a different perspective, a unique experience. I'll come up with a topic and I'll think, we'll all think the same about this.
No.
And it's not going to happen like that. So, for everybody being who they are, for what they bring to the table, for what they do in their personal lives. Many of us are mothers and wives, and if I give you the resume of the people on this thing, because we talk about, we yarn some dust sometimes, you may think, if I give you the resume, you know that these people are doing things. So for everything that you do, and for every other girl that you are lighting the path for, thank you. Yeah. And to you, our audience, thank you. And happy Women's History Month. See you later.
Next time on Conversations in Lagos.
During Obasanjo and it wasn't Obasanjo. During Goodluck Jonathan's term, there was the finance minister. What was her name? Who was supposed to also be a great. But what happened? Eventually, she was ineffective. Do you guys know that today the finance minister of Nigeria also just resigned, and she was also supposed to be another great white hope in the country. So my point is that it's not about one candidate that can make a change. It has to be a whole group of people.
It has to be a structural
change
that requires
investment.
But
it starts with one person.
Not one person.
Or a group of people.
whole mindset change.
Absolutely.